60% of Google searches end up in 0 clicks. 0. That is why your organic traffic is down. It's so bad that people are calling it the traffic apocalypse. Your content isn't broken, but that link from search to your blog, it's just gone. That's the big shift, and it's going to accelerate from here. Now, here's the silver lining. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inbound. I'm Yamini, and I work at HubSpot, and I'm so glad that you're here this week. You know, this Inbound is extra special for me. There's just a certain kind of energy that you only find in San Francisco. And I have my family and my friends here for the first time watching me live. A little extra pressure for me. San Francisco is unlike any other city. This is where founders pitch startups in line at Starbucks, where people prototype on the back of napkins, and you hear the word moonshot multiple times before lunch. Here, innovation is just a way of life, which makes this the perfect place for all of us to connect, to figure out where technology is heading and where we all, as humans, fit in. Speaking of which, do you ever hear a question that just stops you in your tracks? One of those very human questions. You know, it just happened to me. We were dropping off our son in college 2 weeks ago. Big milestone. And like any kid his age, he had questions for me. Am I going to make friends? How often should I call home? And do I really need to separate my lights and darks when doing laundry? And like any parent, I had answers. Of course you're going to make friends. And call at least once a week if you want us to pay your bills. And laundry, no, just don't ruin your nice shirts. But then he asked me a tougher question. What should I learn if I want a great future? I paused, because that's a question not about college. It's a question about how we all stay relevant, where we fit in, about feeling a bit rudderless in the world of AI, not knowing where we're going to be in 4 months, let alone 4 years. You know, that pause, that uncertainty, that is the moment that we're all in, not just as parents, not just as professionals, but as people. With AI, we're not just adapting to a new technology. We are questioning human value. What is our role? What is AI's? What does our job look like in 3 years? Our teams? And what do we tell our kids today so they're ready for their careers tomorrow? Big questions. Now, in every technology wave before, PCs, internet, mobile, we've adapted to that technology and we've scaled, but we've never questioned human value. Now we do. It feels very personal, right? And a bit unsettling. And that's because this moment is not just about human productivity. It is about human identity, not what we do, but who we are and how we grow. And just as we are grappling with all of these big questions in life and at work, let's think about our customers. Well, they are grappling with this too, and they're trying to grow. Our customers are not on some neat, predictable path to growth. They are fighting noise, chaos, and an overwhelming sense of pressure. And that is because the growth playbook that we all followed, it's not working anymore. So how did that happen? But more importantly, what do we do next? Well, to find answers, we got to rewind all the way back to the early days of the internet. Now, the internet made information searchable, so buyers searched. And sellers like us, we built strategies to attract them to our websites. That playbook was straightforward, it was simple, and it was called Inbound. And at HubSpot, we know that playbook better than anybody because we wrote it. Now, that playbook moved our customers through the funnel. We drove awareness through brand. We created content. We optimized that content for search. And when buyers searched, they clicked and they landed on our website. We collected their emails, we sent them even more content, and we nurtured them as leads. And if we did all of that right, they became our customers. But now, this funnel, it looks completely different. The top of the funnel, awareness, has scattered. Buyers are on TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, everywhere, podcasts. They are swiping, scrolling, switching apps every few seconds. Buyers used to start with your content on your. Now, they are everywhere but your website. And now, the middle of the funnel with consideration, that is broken. Buyers would click and get to your content. Now, AI overviews, they're providing the answers at the top of every search. 60% of Google searches end up in 0 clicks. 0. That is why your organic traffic is down. It's so bad that people are calling it the traffic apocalypse. Your content isn't broken, but that link From search to your blog, it's just gone. That's a big shift, and it's going to accelerate from here. Now, here's the silver lining. The bottom of the funnel, with conversion, it is transforming. AI is making it much easier to get to know your customers better, and it can map the intent of those customers to the information they need. And that means buyers get content that feels personal, contextual, relevant, content that converts. So in short, the funnel isn't flowing because that playbook has played out. Awareness was centralized, now it's dispersed. Traffic was abundant, now it's shrinking. And conversion was slow. Now it's actually fast and AI assisted. So if you're all sitting there thinking, like George Costanza, every decision I've ever made in my entire life has been wrong. Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Here's the truth, content still matters. And focusing on your customers still matters. But like George here, it is time for us to try something different. All right, where do we go? Well, we did what we always do here at HubSpot. We talked to customers, many of you, and we launched pilots, and we dug into the data, and we put all of that together to create something completely new, a growth playbook built for the AI era. And we're calling that playbook the loop. Yeah. This is not static, it's not linear, it's dynamic, always learning and always evolving. And at the center of the loop is a new kind of partnership between humans and agents, each doing what they do best. Okay, let me walk through the loop in 4 steps. You start by expressing who you are. You gotta define your taste, your tone, your point of view before you bring in AI. Then you have to tailor that message to your customers. You got to use AI to make those interactions feel very contextual, personal, relevant. And then you amplify to meet your customers where they are. And you diversify your content across multiple channels. And then finally, you evolve in real time. You iterate effectively and quickly with AI. This is the new growth playbook. Human authenticity with AI's efficiency. Yeah. Now, let me break it down.